The OSight XE has a wealth of features. Pop-up rear iron sights, a user-selectable reticle with both 2 and 6 MOA dots, an enclosed emitter housing, and the most requested feature in an OSight, a side battery tray. And if you'd like to learn more, hit that like button right now and we'll check it out. Let's keep this unboxing short so we can just see what you get inside the box. This is the OSight XE. This is an RMR footprint enclosed emitter reflex sight from OSight, and it differs from the new XR model, which recently came out this year, because this is powered by a user replaceable coin battery in the side tray there, and that allows you to replace the battery should you need to without having to take off your entire unit. And the actual reflex sight is an enclosed emitter, which means there's actually a pane of glass in the back. That is a really vital feature that is often overlooked, because if you ever had a regular reflex sight that has the reflective lens in the front just exposed to the air or whatever, if you ever get any rain or mud or dust or whatever on the inside, good luck, because if you don't completely clean off the inside, that will obscure your dot and basically render your reflex sight useless. This has a pane of glass that encloses that rear reflective lens, and this prevents any fouling or rain, environment, or whatever from getting onto that reflective part. And you can easily clean this with a wet napkin, or in a pinch, some spit, and just wipe it off with your thumb if you have to, and that'll get you back into the fight. This is a game changer for anybody who's had to carry out in the open, or if they're mounting a reflex sight onto a rifle or a shotgun. If you're ever exposed to the elements, this is a game changer in terms of design. I don't know why all reflex sights aren't enclosed, to be honest. Some other cool features about this: it is motion activated shake awake, and you can adjust the brightness with the side buttons here. And when you get to maximum brightness, it will blink. And we'll take a look at that reticle in greater detail when we get to the range, because you can't really see it in proper focus because this table is too close. But what's cool about this is that it has two options for the size of the dot. Well, this is pretty unusual. It has 2 MOA dot, and you get the option of changing this to a 6 MOA dot. Finer, smaller dot for precision or long-range shooting. Larger 6 MOA dot for greater visibility and for reacquiring in rapid fire. But also, it gives you the option of switching it from a single dot reticle to a circle, 32 MOA circle, or circle and dot. So this is probably the widest range of reticle size options that I'm aware of. And in addition to that, this has rear pop-up iron sights. That is truly unique. So let's say you want to run it with visible iron sights. You press this little button on the side here, and it pops up rear sights. That's super cool. Now, there are plenty of red dots out there. Well, I should say there are red dots out there with molded rear sights. But let's say you buy it and you don't want them there. Well, you can just press these ones, clicks, and it stays down. So you have the option of with or without having to buy a whole nother reflex sight. And this has also comes, considering cool designs, it comes with a really cool tool that has a flathead on one end and a star or Torx on the other. The Torx is for installing your install screws, and it does come with quite a wide range, probably the most installed screws I've seen with a reflex sight that comes with it. The other end is a flathead, and that is used to unscrew your battery cover, locking screw, and also to make your adjustments to your elevation and windage. And let's take a listen to that. So you can hear clicks. I can also feel the indexing, and this is 1 MOA per click. And our elevation, also audible, tactile positive. So yeah, very nice. So overall, this is a really nicely built or nicely designed reflex sight. And it is IPX7 rated, which is another good reason why it's It's an enclosed red dot, so that means it can even survive full water immersion. So we'll give this a proper test, and we'll take it out to the range. The XE is IPX7 rated, which means it can be fully submerged in water for up to 30 minutes without sustaining any moisture damage. And we're going to test that out for a full hour. But don't worry, I'm not going to make you sit here that entire time. I've got the camera set on time-lapse. So that hour will only take a few seconds, and afterwards we're going to see if any water got into the unit, and more importantly, is it still working? Alright, let me just shake this off dry so that we can hopefully see that dot. And yeah, I can see it. Hold on, let me hold it up to the camera. Did you see that? I can see it for a second there. I'm having a hard time aligning this properly, but yeah, you can see the dot. It's working. And thankfully, I don't see any water inside of that enclosed chamber between the rear window and the reflective lens. So the XE passed the waterproof test. I've mounted the XE onto my Glock 17, and we're here at the gun range to test it out. Let's take a look at the various brightness levels. I'm going to take it down to its dimmest, which is only visible with night vision, and we'll bring it all the way up to its maximum brightness, and you'll see it blink, and that's the maximum brightness. Now let's change the reticle. Let me just bring it down a little less bright so it's not so bloomy. This is the 2 MOA dot and a circle, and that's the 6 MOA dot. And this is the 6 MOA dot with the circle, and back to the 2 MOA dot and circle, and the 32 MOA circle, and a fine 2 MOA dot. As I move around, you can see the dot remains sharp, crisp, and clear with no distortions even at the edges of the window, and that it stays on target and is parallax free. And in my live fire tests, I saw no flickering, I was able to stay on target, and the XE ran flawlessly. Before we get into it, I just want to remind you to hit the like and subscribe buttons right now. Hey, it just takes a second, and it's no big deal. And it's absolutely free. They don't charge you to subscribe to this channel, to be a subscriber. So thanks for taking a moment to hit like and subscribe right now before the video ends. And thanks to OSight for sending out the XE for me to test. And it's no hyperbole for me to say that this is possibly the perfect pistol reflex sight. It just checks all the boxes. It's an RMR footprint, which is by far the most common out there, so easy enough to find an aftermarket RMR cut slide, whether new or used. This has, well, it's one of the few that offers a changeable reticle, and not just having a dot and a circle and a dot, but this one actually allows you to choose the size of the dot, whether 2 or 6 MOA. So really, it just appeals to everybody out there. And if you change your particular style of what kind of dot you want later on, you don't have to buy a whole new reflex sight for your pistol. Also, this is an enclosed emitter red dot, and I've said this a few times in the video. This is really the way to go in terms of reliability. If you've ever had the misfortune of running a regular reflex sight, an open reflex sight, and gotten rain or spilled water or heaven forbid mud got onto the inside, it's game over for that reflex until you can actually get it somewhere where you can clean out the inside of your lens and dry it, because otherwise that dot will not be visible or be totally just smeared and distorted by any moisture on the inside. But having a clean pane of glass on the behind it really protects that reflective side. And even if you do get mud or rain or whatever on the outer pane of glass, it's easy enough to clean that off. And even if it's not entirely super clean, you'll still be able to see that dot. So really, the enclosed emitter is the way to go, especially since this is pretty much the exact same size as the regular a regular reflex sight. When enclosed emitters first came out with the Acro, I mean, that thing was huge with the housing around it, and the view through it wasn't any better than a regular red dot, but the thing was huge. This one is exactly the same size as a regular reflex sight. So why would you run anything other than an enclosed emitter reflex sight like the XE here? Maybe there's a valid reason. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts about that are. But this also has some other cool little features as well. It has those pop-up rear sights, which is very unique. I don't know of any reflex out there that does that. Whether you want to run it with, or in my case without, just tuck it in. It's gone. It's out of the view. And possibly the best feature, the price on this is $150 less than the competitors out there, and OSight has great customer service. So really, Why would you get this over anything else? Possibly the only thing I would recommend other than this would be the XR, which is the rechargeable version of this. This one runs off of a coin battery that's user replaceable. The XR is rechargeable, and I've reviewed that as well. So if you'd like to see that review, you can find a link in the video description. Of course, you could find out more about either this, the XE or the XR, on my blog at moondogindustries.com. So thanks for taking a moment to check out those links, and thanks for taking the time to check out this video. God bless. Moondog out. What did you think of the video? Leave me a comment. And you can always chat with me on X, Facebook, or Instagram. You can find useful links in the video description and check out my other videos, channels, and my website, moondogindustries.com.